and then I'm going to go ahead and record. So guys, this call tonight is all about mindset. It's all about how to come into this business and be an entrepreneur from the start. And I know that might be a new term for you guys, and you're probably like, I didn't know I signed up to be an entrepreneur, but you did, and it's going to be amazing. And it's awesome, but it also comes with some struggles, and it also comes with some things that we need to work on as far as your mindset goes. And we've all been through it. So it's good. We're going to talk from experience tonight. We're going to tell you some things that we learned along the way, and hopefully that sticks with you. So Vic, why don't you get us going?
Yeah. And guys, like, I love how she said, like, oh, that, you know, some people like, I didn't know I signed up to be an entrepreneur. Like, guys,
where the heck are you?
Someone's playing the piano. Okay. Okay, anyway. You know, guys, like, anytime that you invest into yourself financially to make more money, like, that's a means of entrepreneurship. Like, you guys might not realize it because in your mind you're like, I just got like this pack of products, you know, like it wasn't that serious, but it's like, it's as serious as you make it. It is as serious as you make it. So, you know, act as if, you know, in your mind, you might not feel like you're an entrepreneur, but if you want to be, when you hear entrepreneur, you're looking at like Gary Vee, you're looking at all these people who like started from the bottom and built these amazing, huge corporations and stuff like that. But we all started that way. And who knows where we're going to be in 10 years, because this truly can become a 7-figure, 8-figure, 9-figure income. Like, I'm not even messing around. You guys have no idea what top income earners in network marketing, in the network marketing industry make. So act as if, and believe it in its entirety. Like, do not think for a second that you can like act as if SED or this is like your MO one day, but then the next day you're complaining and you're like annoyed that, you know, people are telling you no and no one's signing up and no one's responding to your stories. Like, you can't be all in believing it one day and then not believing it the next day. You have to think, eat, breathe, sleep, feel as if you are, you know, whoever it is that you're trying to be. If you want to be a 7-figure income earner in this business, you have to believe in your whole heart and mind and soul that you deserve to be a 7-figure income earner, that you will have a 7-figure income earning business. You have to feel that way all the time, because if you turn it on and off, and if you're 1 foot in and 1 foot out, then it's going to take you much longer to get there than what it would take somebody else who puts in just straight up like 2 years of like tunnel vision, like hardcore alignment, like this is my goal, this is it. Like, guys, at the end of the day, you know, in this industry, yes, you do have to have patience, obviously, because consistency is key, and it's going to take you a little bit to get the results that you actually want. But in an industry that we are so blessed to be a part of, the network marketing industry, we have the ability to do in 2 to 3 years what it takes other entrepreneurs 10 to 20 years to create. We are blessed. When people are like, oh, is this network marketing? You should be like, thank the good Lord above it is. Thank God that I was smart enough to say yes to a network marketing company, because this sort of business, you get tunnel vision for 8-9 months. On your 1 year, you're going to already be pulling in 5 figures a month. Now, I can't guarantee that, but I'm telling you from what Sam has done, from what I have done, and what we see other people do, like hardcore alignment of feeling, believing, and acting, and eating, and sleeping, and breathing our goals. By our 1 year, we were pulling that number in. We were pulling in money that, you know, people in that like start, say, a pizzeria shop don't even see profit in 5 years. But we see profit in this business in a week, you know? So don't let it only be about obviously the financial, but I'm just putting that perspective out there because I want to make sure everybody understands how blessed we are to be in the network marketing industry. Sam, you want to
Yeah, I want to talk about something you actually said a little bit earlier. You were basically saying like you have to know that this is for you, and you have to know that you said yes to something. You might not know the, how big it is yet. When I first started, I wanted to make $500, right? And you guys are probably just signed up and you're like, I'm excited to make money. I'm excited to make $500. And I want you to know that when you hit that $500 mark, I want you guys to be looking, what else can I get? How much more can I get? And that's when you become obsessed, right? You get that first paycheck and you're like, damn, like that was nice. Like, let me go double that. Let me go triple that. So I want you guys to stay eager. I want you to stay excited. And I want you to know the power of your brain and your mind is so important. And you might not even know this yet because it took me 2.5 years to learn it. I'm like so deep right now in the whole manifestation thing. And believe me, I thought it was a bunch of crap when I first started this business. And now that I realize the power that we have in our mind to basically tell ourselves, this is for me. I'm going to be a top income earner in money. I am going to be an SED, right? When you have that power over your own thoughts and over your own mind, nothing can come through that. Yes, I'm not going to lie. You are going to have bad days. You are going to have bad weeks. You're going to have times where you're like, is this really for me? And it's funny because I'm actually like, I'm talking with someone right now who's like trying to do their own product and their own business and that kind of thing. And as a friend, I'm just asking, how's it going? Like, how's it doing? And she's like, well, this happened, so maybe it's just not for me. I'm like, girl, do you know how many roadblocks have been placed in front of some of the most successful people that there are? So yes, this does not come without saying that there is going to be hard times, and there is going to be people that tell you no, and there is going to be people who maybe even laugh at your business or tell you what you're doing is stupid. But when you know in your head, okay, if she can do it, I can do it too. And believe me, there's so many girls that you can look at in this business and say, she did it. And it's not just one of us being successful. It's many of us. And it's just the people who said yes and went all in.
Yeah. And the truth is, and perfect little segue there, how she's saying that there are many people that are successful, and you see many. First of all, there's many people that are successful, but then when you look at the larger scale, there's very few people who are successful, right? When you look at it like, wow, your whole upline. First of all, you guys on this call, every single one of you on this call,
you're blessed.
Should feel nothing but motivation all damn day. Because if you're on this call, that means that your upline is in one of the group chats with me and Sam, which is full of the top directors in the company. So if you're on this call, like you're pretty damn set in this business. So you should be literally all day long looking up at the above and being like, that's my upline, that's my upline, that's my upline, like, and just amazed all day. So that's one thing. But when you look at these people, and you realize it's a lot of people, but at the same time, it's a small amount of people in the hindsight of the percentage of like how many people join Monat versus how many people hit SED and hit $1 Million Club and all of that. And here's what I want you guys to remember. I want you guys to write this down and understand this. A negative mindset will fail 100% of the time. And a positive mindset will succeed 100% of the time. I'm going to repeat that one more time, and then I'm going to explain why, and I'm going to put it into a perspective for you to understand. A negative mindset is going to fail 100% of the time. Fact. A positive mindset is going to succeed 100% of the time. Fact. Done. Now understand this. Why? How is that a fact? How are those statistics possible that 100% of the time and 100% of the time? I'm positive all the time, and I'm not in the $1 Million Club, so that's not true. Listen to me. A person who lets any sort of negativity get into their mind and stop them from doing something, such as quitting the business or not posting this day or not reaching out to people this day, or whatever that negativity stopped you from doing, stops you from success in any of those factors. If my negativity made me not post today, that negativity just made you fail from getting somebody in your DMs that day. How do you know for a fact you're not going to get anybody in your DMs that day? Simply because of the fact that you chose not to post because of that mindset. Somebody with a negative mindset who quits Monat because they don't feel that the income that they're making is worth the time that they're putting in, failed at Monat, and then probably tells people those companies don't work. No, you chose not to work for the company. You chose to stop. So you never saw the success because that negativity made you choose failure. Because failure is a choice. You could only choose to quit or you could choose to continue. And a successful person is going to see the success, a positive person is going to see the success 100% of the time because they're choosing to continue. They're choosing to still post on their story despite nobody reaching out for the past 5 times, because this might be the time that somebody reaches out. A person with a positive mindset is never going to quit, because even when they fail, because by the way, a successful person is going, a positive and successful person is still going to fail regardless.
Okay, thank you.
Sam has failed many times. I have failed many times. All your uplines that you mentioned, I saw Caitlin, I saw Nella, have failed many times. A positive and successful person is going to fail, but is going to choose to persevere and continue through and go over it. So while the negative mindset person hit a failure, hit a roadblock, hit an obstacle, like Sam just mentioned about her friend, they decided this might not be for me. So they stopped and they chose failure as the end result. And that was it. But the positive mind, when they fail, when they have a roadblock, when they get into that moment of like, is this shit really for me or not? They're choosing success anyway, and they're choosing to work past that failure. And they're going to keep going no matter what. They still failed. They still accepted failure, but they chose to not let failure be the end result. They chose that success is the only option as their end result.
And guys, this isn't something that's learned overnight. And I want you to know this. Like, it's not like one day you wake up and you're the most positive person in the world. You have to constantly check yourself, and you have to be so conscious of the words that are coming out of your mouth. It's as simple as saying something like, oh my gosh, this girl's never going to sign up on my team. When you realize, when you flip that around and be like, this girl someday will join me, I have no doubt. It's something as simple as changing the words that are coming out of your mouth that will change your life, and it will change your business. And you might think, what is this girl talking about? But I promise you guys, once you start doing more personal development and you start really digging into that, which if you don't listen to personal development, you need to start tonight before you go to bed. Okay. 30 minutes a day minimum. You can even go on YouTube and search motivation. That's what I do. Like, podcasts are great. It's just not really my thing. So I'm on YouTube all day, like listening to things that fire me up. Gary Vee is like my guy, right? Constantly listening to him. And I want you to remember that your energy is contagious. The way that you show up into a room, the way you talk about this business is going to determine whether you're successful or you're not successful. I'm going to give you 2 examples. There's someone that walks into the room and they're talking about money, and they're like, yeah, like I just tried it. I just signed up and used the products. They were good. And then there's someone that comes into the room and they're like, girl, I just use these products. I don't know what the hell's in them. My hair's never been better. My skin is glowing. Who wants to come on my team? Because we're going to the top. These girls are making millions and I'm doing it too. Who would you join? Right? The girl who's hyped, the girl who knows where she's going, the girl that is painting that vision for you, or someone who says, yeah, the products are really good. I love them. No, guys, your energy shows up into the room before you ever do. So you need to check it. You need to really, really focus on that. And it's not easy to be positive all the time. And there's going to be hard times, but you have to look at the bigger picture. Okay. And I want you to remember, give us a year. Give us a year of not making a lot. Give us a year of putting in the time and not maybe seeing the reward. Show up every single day. Come on the calls. Stop partying. Stop doing these things that aren't giving you shit in life. And just start showing up for this business and for yourself. And I promise you, you will see something. But you can't just go 1 foot in and 1 foot out. When you decide that you're going to jump all the way into this, that is when you will see the reward. Okay. You can't have a plan B. You can't say, if this doesn't work, I'm going to go to Arbonne. I'm going to try something else. There's no plan B.
And it's genuinely so true. I want to touch on two things that Sam just said. First thing, actually three things. First thing is the personal development, because that's one of a really, really, really important thing that I think that people don't take seriously is personal development. And there's so many different streams of personal development that people are so, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, but I see my girl Rebecca is on this call, who I haven't seen on a call in a little bit. I just like I'm like, she looks familiar. I just like put my cursor over and I see Rebecca at the bottom. Yay, happy to see you on this call, love. Anyway, their personal development, there are so many different streams of personal development. And like Sam said, a podcast isn't for her. And a podcast might not be for everybody. Like, I love them because I learn little like I don't necessarily listen to an hour-long podcast and get an hour long of like life-changing information, but it could be for me one little thing that they said that like really resonates with me and sits with me. So that's why I like podcasts. But for me, what's really big for me is journaling. And I really wanted to talk to you guys about that very briefly. I'm not going to get into too much, but this little book that I have right here, it says Your Vibe Attracts Your Tribe. I have been journaling in this book for 2 years. My first journaling is from 2018. And literally everything, like even like this little circle here, I don't want to get too close because I don't want you guys to see it, but this is a reality board. Okay, so it says right here, reality board. And I rated everything. I rated my romance, my health, my living space, my family, my finances, my career, my spirituality, and my fun time, like my recreation. And I rated literally everything in my life. And then after that, again, I don't want to show you guys, like I write down my intentions, what like I feel confident in, what I feel empowered about, what makes me feel clarity, what makes me feel excited, what makes me feel hopeful, what makes me feel relieved. And then I talk about the things. So right here, I just wrote, this is, oh my God, this is from so long ago. This is from probably, the 2018. And I wrote down something that I had been saying. This journal is just, I wrote those things. Like this is a blank, like just like notebook journal. It's not anything special. And I wrote down in a sentence, I can't hit director. So this was before I hit director, and I was struggling to get there. It took me 11 months to get back to director. So I wrote, I can't hit director. And then I translated it into, excuse me, I'm not director yet, but I'm working super hard toward it right now. And I can't wait to get there. And so like the things that you say I can't do, or I'm not doing, or I'm struggling to do, I wrote. And then literally, I wish I had the damn date on this, but not long after that, I hit director. And am I saying that I hit director because I wrote it down? No, but I hit director because I was so much more intentional. I was so much more intentional. Oh my God, guys, I promise I went to college. I have good grammar. I was so much more intentional on hitting director, like instead of saying like, I can't hit it. And then I wrote down all these other things, like things that I wasn't doing. I wrote down, I can't throw events because for a while I had so many excuses of like why I can't throw events. I don't have a big local team. There's nowhere to go around here. I always had all these excuses. No one has the money, blah, blah, blah. And then I wrote down, I haven't focused on events yet, but I'm learning more on better ways to facilitate it. And then I started doing the Tampa Takeover and doing a bunch of events. And like, obviously now with the virus, like I haven't done that, but all of this stuff. And then I just write down a ton of different things that I journal in every single aspect of my life. I wrote down qualities that I look for in myself, qualities that I look for in the people I surround myself with, whether it's romance or friendships or whatever, partnerships. I wrote down my desires. I write down my life goals. I wrote down my non-negotiables for me, for the people around me. Like I just write down all this stuff, and I'm literally going page by page by page. And I'm like, these things genuinely changed my whole
gallery.
Mindset. Whoa, changed my whole.
Oops, sorry, Vic, I muted you on accident.
It not only changed my whole mindset, like internally, but when you change your mindset internally, it changes what happens externally, right? So it's not only about listening to podcasts and stuff like that, but it is about your actual intentional steps. And then the other thing that Sam said, not AJ, but I'm bringing AJ into the story, is about the contagious energy and, you know, stuff like that. When, like, the person who walks into the room. AJ and I, we went on a trip, I forget which trip it was, but we went on a money trip. And when we were sitting on the plane, I was sitting on the plane with my headphones in, listening to a movie, and we were in the same row, or she was in the row in front of me, something like that. We were really close to each other, and I was just sitting there, like, chilling out, you know, like, minding my own business. I'm like, no one look at me. Like, girl, do not look at me. And when I turn around, I looked at AJ, and she was exchanging Instagrams with this guy on the plane, telling him about, oh yeah, all these girls on this plane, like, we're going to so-and-so, we are all on this trip, it's a company. He's like, oh, do you have stuff for men? She's like, yeah. Listen, he might have never bought the product, but she was the one out of the two of us who was out there opening her mouth, spreading, like, you know. And for me, I'm sitting there like, don't want to be bothered, and for her, she was like nonstop excited to get the word out there. So that goes by Sam's example. But then the key is how contagious that was to me. Oh, I know where we were. I think that was Vegas. No, it was Monations. It was Monations last year. Because what happened after that was that after that, we were, you know, I wasn't with her. I was with other people. I was in an Uber. And what did I do? I spoke to my Uber driver, because I literally, it sat with me all day that she talked to the person on the plane and I sat back. I literally was like embarrassed that, like, I just sat there with my headphones in and didn't speak to anybody while somebody else is making moves. That right there, one person is always going to have the success, and then the other person, you close your mouth, you're not going to have it, right? And so in that situation, there was one clear-cut winner, and it's the person who decided to open their mouth. But that was so contagious to me that later on that day, in the Uber, you know, they're like, oh, you know, there's a lot of people around here. Like, what's going on at this convention and whatever. What did I do? Took out my business card. And I'm like, yeah, like, we're all here for this trip that we all earned. Oh, maybe it was Vegas. I can't remember where the hell we were that I was with AJ. Bahamas, I don't know, some shit like that. And I was talking about that we all earned this trip and blah, blah, blah. I gave them my card, started talking about it, gave her my phone number. And like, listen, I didn't get the sale out of it, but that wasn't the point. The point was that that person has my phone number, and in 3 years might be like, this is random, but I remember I met you and blah, 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 blah. And that was that. And I just thought, like, when, you know, talking about the contagious energy, like, how important that is, because your energy is contagious, both the negative and the positive. So if you get on your story with that big energy, like I do on my story, what do I see people do? When I make a recipe that looks damn good, people go make that recipe, they tag me in it. When I make my bed, you know, in the morning, and I get people hyped up in the morning, they make their bed, they tag me in it. Like, when I have that, yeah, the sweet potato toast that pretty much everybody is eating now, like, the things that I do with good energy, when I come on there and I'm like really all about what I'm talking about, it's contagious and it duplicates, and people take that and they run with it and they want it and they do it. But when you choose to not really post, or you choose to just like do whatever, like on your story, like, that energy is contagious as well. And it's a negative energy. Both negative and positive energy are both very much quick to absorb by somebody else. And so I want you guys to realize that it's like, what are you putting out there? Do you get on your stories? Like, I always use Sam as an example too. Like, when I tell my girls like who to follow on social media, like, Sam is a number one person that I always say, because she gets out there on her story and she talks about all different things as well. And she's passionate about what she's saying, and she's excited about what she's talking about. And it genuinely shows, a good mindset, because me and Sam are not two people who are going to fake the funk and that are going to fake the funk and get on their story and like pretend to like have this business. Like, we put our money where our mouth is. We have a good, solid, strong mindset, which is absorbed into good, solid, positive energy, which is put out there on social media, put out there into the universe, and brings on people that attracts onto our team, or even as a client, like anything. And then the one last thing that I want to talk on, and Sam can close it off, is keeping the long-term goals in your mind daily and seeing the bigger picture. Because guys, you're not going to be rich overnight. This is not a get rich quick scheme. You're not going to make 5 figures tomorrow. I know that there are some people that you might see on social media hitting AED in 4 months, and that's not the norm, you know? Like, yes, it's possible, but it's not the norm. So please don't let that vision like blur your mind of your long-term goals. When you're going to journal and you're going to do it, write down your long-term goals and don't worry about how many market partners somebody else signed up. Don't worry about who's a top enroller and who has the highest PV and this and that, because that's all the short-term stuff. And yes, that's still great. And we congratulate everybody on their success. And shout out to everybody who's doing amazing in this business. The number 1 enrollers and the number 10 enrollers, I don't care who you are. Congrats on everything that you're doing well on. But like at the end of the day, are you in this business to close a block, or are you in this business for financial freedom? Because if you can't close a block this week, that doesn't mean that you can't hit SED someday. Like if you want to hit SED someday, just stick to that vision. Just focus on that. Don't quit because you like are taking longer to hit the beginning ranks than everybody else. Don't quit because it's taking you a little bit longer to close a Mo neighborhood, or you're smart, you know, you haven't fulfilled a whole smart start. Like whatever the case is, short-term things cannot blur your vision from the long-term thing. Please don't lose sight of those long-term, much bigger goals.
Yes, and guys, the thing that will keep you going to those long vision goals is having a why. And it can't be like, oh, I want to make more money. Why do you want to make more money? Is your credit shit? Do you have kids? Do you need to feed your kids? Do you need to put them into school? Do you want to take your family on vacation? Do you want to help your mom? Guys, I just bought my mom a BMW. The woman who literally did everything for me without asking for anything in return. And that's the one person in my life I wanted to help. I did that through this business. And I think people right now sitting here are like, that will never happen for me, because I sat on these calls and I thought that about the people preaching to me. I'll never be there, right? And then slowly by surely, I started putting one foot in front of the other and working and showing up every day. And I wouldn't take no for an excuse. And I said to myself, every person that I talk to about this business, I'm planting seeds wherever I go, and my garden is going to grow at some point. It happens, you know, whether they message me back in 2 months, in 2 years, whatever it is. I don't want you guys to think the first interaction you have with someone, it's going to convert to a sale. Because when you have that expectation, you start to get discouraged when that doesn't happen. And that's just not real life. Sales anywhere, car salesman, everyone, they'll tell you right away, the first time you talk with someone, most likely is not going to convert to a sale. So when you come at it thinking, when I talk to someone, I'm interested in finding out why they need this business. I'm interested in finding out how I can help them find a solution to the problem that they're having. When you know that, then you will start to build your team. When it stops becoming more about you and more about them is when you will find success in this business. Okay? But I want you to remember, the days that are hard, your why has to be big enough. It can't just be, I want to buy more clothes. It can't be something so small like that. It has to make you want to cry. It has to make you want to not go to sleep at night, right? So write that down, like get deep with yourself and figure out why you actually want to do this. And then on the flip side of that, I want you guys to remember that this business is in the palm of your hand. I know you might look at your upline and say, why isn't she doing more for me? Why am I doing this all alone? Why is this person succeeding and I'm not? I need you guys to know that this is what you make of it. When I first started Monat, we did not have a team page. We did not have training videos. We did not have Zoom calls.
We didn't have flash sales.
We didn't have flash sales. I had YouTube and I had books, okay? And I figured out how to do this business by failing, by sending shitty messages, by posting shitty content and failing, okay? Because I found out what works. And now you guys have it all to your expense. And sometimes it's like, it's too easy for people. And they take advantage of it and they don't put in the work. And so I'm telling you right now, you guys have the power to take this and make it whatever you want, but you have to decide today that I'm all in, okay? No plan B. And when you do that, you will find that you'll sit down at your computer for however long you have to do this business, whether it's an hour, whether it's 2, whether it's 3, and you're not scrolling on social media, you're sitting down and you're doing the work. Okay. And so when you guys do that, I promise you it's going to work out. Just stay committed, stay positive, and stay excited.
And that's it. That's all we got for tonight, folks. Everybody get to work. We don't want to take up too much of your time, but we do suggest that everybody really starts their personal development, whatever it is, and really just shift your focus onto the bigger picture starting tonight.
Love you. I'll send the recording. Bye.